Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dot to Dot. Today, I got some pretty interesting things to show you that, well, it sort of blows my mind. And I'm just looking at this and wondering, is this something that could tell us who came upon Oak Island? And it really goes deep. And like I said, it blows me away. And I'm going to start with the story on how I came upon this and how it was that I put this together. And it was really through a couple of people. And the first person was John Stemmer, who has the Quest of Oak Island show. And he sent me this. Now, this was the first thing that I got. And he was asking me about what are these lines coming off the top of the triangle, and he said this came from a friend of his that was helping with the show. His name was Chris Donna, and he sent him, actually what he sent him was this. And Chris Donna had said that this was a rubbing from the 90-foot stone, and you can see on here some of these triangles. Now, you think maybe it's the chisel marks or something like that, but I had no idea what it was. So I told John, I really haven't any clue what this is. And then I had another comment, or actually a bunch of things come my way that was from one of my subscribers that was relating to Rene Le Chateau, the origins, basically where the origins of the Da Vinci Code came from. And I'm going to play a little video clip from one of the videos that he sent me, and it's very interesting. And just watch this, and you will see something very familiar in this little clip. So enjoy.
The parchment supposedly discovered by Béranger Saunière in 1891. In particular, the first parchment, the one that contains that enigmatic message, "This treasure belongs to King Dagobert II and to Zion, and he is there dead." In preparation for the first BBC film in 1971, Lincoln spent much time contemplating the parchments.
No matter where they came from, unquestionably they contain messages. But having dealt with those, I continued to look at them, and there were lots of unanswered questions, even though we'd got the secret messages out of it. What we'd got were things like, why are there 3 crosses dotted amongst the text?
The obvious question was, what happens if lines are drawn to connect the crosses? Well, that question is immediately rewarded as a line from this cross to this traces out a word from the intersected text. That word is Zion. So the right questions are being asked. What next? Drawing a line to the other cross doesn't produce a significant result. Yet the clear message from the first line is that the crosses are significant. What about the small triangular design in the upper left-hand corner? The upper face of this little triangle lines up with the cross on line 4. The lower face with the bottom of the first line. The connection of these 2 crosses produces this line. Inspired by a design which was said to have been inscribed on a stone found 2 miles from Rennes-le-Château, Lincoln played with the idea of a similar design being present in the parchment. There is no cross or mark to indicate the necessary line. But Lincoln was convinced that the creator of this parchment was playing a subtle game. He noticed that this A is oddly detached, the only isolated letter in the text, and that the exact midpoint of this line falls in that gap. The choice of this point is confirmed when a circle centred here not only naturally passes through these points on the triangle, but also passes through the cross in line 7. Choosing that point to create this line was further confirmed as correct when it's seen that the point created here is exactly equidistant from the first two crosses. The circle is indicated. And now the little design in the corner makes sense. The circle creates two more points of intersection, which when joined, produce this. In 1971, when Henry Lincoln found this hidden pentacle, the story of Rennes-le-Château was still rooted in the mystery of a buried treasure.
It didn't mean anything to me at the time when I found it. It's important to remember that I wasn't looking for anything specific. I was merely asking myself, what is there?
I love that part. He just asking himself, what is there? One thing that's interesting about this, and I'm going to leave a link for all 6 of these videos if you guys want to watch them in the descriptions, is that in that video, he basically tells about how he came about this geometry. And it's interesting because it's the same way that Olivier and I came up with the geometry that is from the Rochefoucauld map, through little nuances and oddities from a text and that form lines. So I'm going to go into Google Earth, and I'm going to show you how this conforms to what we have on Oak Island. So here is our symbol, and this is the same symbol as that's in that document. This is just a cutout. And if you take this pretty much the same way they did on the video, is they drew a line through there, and then they drew a line through there. Now this one doesn't line up as well, but I'll show you where that goes. And then you take they put a triangle here, and then they did this. And one of the things that came about was the placement of the line that goes this way was really the center point of the final circle, and it comes from this corner here. So that right there bisects this circle right here, this line, and then you draw the circle, and that's pretty much where you see what happens in the video. And then you put in this line and take out, let's see, where is it? This line. And so you're left with sort of the same thing. You're left with a pentagram. And now these are all these lines here are within the circle, except for this one, or all these lines except for this one are 1,444 feet, which is the 1347 from the Rochefoucauld map. So what are these? These are, the top of it is triangle 2 on the Rochefoucauld map. And the bottom of this star is the north anchor, and this is the south anchor. And again, there was something in this video that wasn't said, and that was this. This was in the video, but there's something written in, and this was, they didn't really explain it, but they said this is something that gave him an idea about what was happening with the triangular shape. So I took it upon myself to try and translate this. This and this up here really doesn't translate into anything. If it does, this is Galatian, and this is with a little apostrophe up here is Latin, so Galatian and Latin, and it basically says leave please, or get out please. But and this I couldn't figure out at all what that meant, but the middle was easily translated, and the translation is this: in medio, well, I'm not going to say it, but this is what it says: in the middle of a line where M cuts the line of small. So in the middle of a line where M cuts the line of small. So it's sort of like a riddle. And I was looking at this and I was saying, you know, what is this M and right here where it's M and then there's a little line there. So that sort of fits our riddle. So all I did was just take a line and put it through the M, the middle of the M, and bring it down and to where it hits something, and it hits right here on the point of where the other point on this pentagram would be. So it sort of completes, and you have these two from these vectors and the circle, and then this sort of completes the last one. So this is cone E, and the center, of course, is the headstone. So another thing that I thought about this is you know, it's also looks like a 3 and a 1 in the center there, and it's like there are 3 points on this: 1, 2, 3, and there's 1 in the center and 1 outside the circle. So this is interesting. Here's that I'll take that off here. There's the symbol that we saw sort of upside down though. There, it's the same symbol except it's upside down. So let's, here, I'll turn it. So it makes this symbol if you took away the triangle there. So just a little interesting thing. I don't know if it's really relevant. The thing that I really find relevant, though, is how he found the geometry, because it's very similar to how Olivier and I found our geometry with the Rochefoucauld map. And, you know, this could be just a general geometric coincidence. I'm not sure. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yeah, it seems pretty specific to this, but I'm not quite sure yet. But if it is a signature kind of geometry, then it's most likely Templar in nature, because if you watch those videos, and I'll leave them in the description, this turns into a whole giant geometric that encompasses all of like Europe, with churches and castles and all kinds of stuff. It's very interesting. There's 6 of those videos. I'll leave them in the description. You guys can go watch them. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you have the fancy to. Thank you. Bye-bye.